Oh, I'm
Hey
Vincent.
there.
Also,
Welcome.
There
better
you
light.
are.
There we go. Better light. Better light. Um, I had found out about the WAVwatch from a friend of mine who I suggested use a Rife machine to work on his stage 4 kidney cancer, and he healed that. But the ultrasound from that device is rather limited because the way it works. So his wife is a flight attendant, and she has all these different issues. So, in all the research she did trying to find stuff to help his cancer, she found the WaveWatch. All right. And she started using it because he was skeptical. When she started getting all sorts of great results for what she was doing it with, he started using it. And he's been clear of cancer now for almost 12 months. And he suggested I start it because my wife and I were in a rollover car crash. Drunk driver hit us, flipped us like Jane's, crash. And 30 years ago, we've had these lingering issues, and we've been dealing with them, trying to find stuff that really works. Spend a lot of money. Very little has been helpful. Very little actually shows results. You spend a lot of money. You work with it a long time. You waste a lot of time and money, and you don't really get any positive results from it. So she suggested, well, why don't you try this Wave Watch? And me being a very cerebral sci-fi fan, if you've ever seen that movie, the old Michael Rennie version of the Earth, the day the Earth stood still, where the robot places the dead alien on this bed, a med bed, and uses ultrasound frequencies to bring him back to life. Okay. Where all these giant frequency jumbles all together. And if you work with those frequencies and you have specific frequencies to target specific problems, you should be able to rearrange the physiology of your body. So I said, okay, I'll try it. I'll spend the money because
Sci-fi
I
movie.
believe in the science that I know could be behind it. And my wife, whenever I try something new, she goes, you try it. You be the guinea pig. And a year later, if I see you've got any results, then I'll try it. Maybe, right? Maybe. So after 3 days of using it and coming up with some what I thought were some good results, I says, why don't you try it? I haven't been able to get that watch back from her ever since. Okay. She uses it to help with her IBS. The second day she had it, she had a sore throat, and she plugged in the sore throat program or whatever it was, and within 10 minutes her sore throat went away. She has neck strain and headaches, and she's gets on the menu and plugs in those, and within half hour, 20 minutes, those are resolved. Something really, really, really works, and it's not a placebo if you can use it on your cat or your dog, because they don't know about sugar pills, right? They
Mhm.
don't know what a placebo is. Monday, last Monday, about whatever, 8 days ago, 9 days ago, our cat came home. He'd been, I believe, attacked by a fox. He had a bite puncture mark on one side of his shoulder and a bite bruise on the other shoulder. And he was freaked out and in shock. And I managed to clean up his wound. He crawled under one of our big chairs to where I could barely reach him. I cleaned up his bloody puncture wound with hydrogen peroxide. He let me do it. Normally, this cat doesn't let you do anything to him. All right. But he was so freaked out. And I looked through the WaveWatch for the healing programs, and there's one called puncture wounds. Okay.
Mhm.
And after getting the blood to stop and everything, I just punched up the puncture wound program and sat there and held it on him for, I think, what, 2 or 3 cycles of this program. Right. And then after a while, he just got fidgety and, crawled under further, and I couldn't do anything more with him. But just that little bit of exposure to that program, he has healed up so quickly to where that puncture wound is it's almost completely all scabbed off. And I mean, it was broken through the skin, you know, it's about quarter inch wide, the size of a fox tooth. But today, when I felt him, the blood blister on the one side is about half the size of it was before. The puncture wound is flaking off skin to where in another day or two, you won't even be able to tell that he was bitten by something, right? So when that your animals are responding to this very quickly. You can't say, oh, it's just a placebo, or like
Right.
the doctors like to say, oh, it's just coincidence. I'm sorry, but when something gives you 100% results, it works. I get these little fungal type cracks behind my ear, and that's a fungal infection. It's like athlete's foot of the ear, or whatever you want to call it. I run the fungal program, and after about 3 or 4 cycles, it seems to be resolved. I also have Morgellons, and I don't know how many people on today know about Morgellons, but these little plastic tendrils start coming out of your skin. Okay, and mine come out on the forearms and on my ankles. Okay, and when you try and scrape them off, they're like hard plastic resin. All right, and I have been running the Morgellons program alternatively, and a whole big plastic blob came out of my elbow. Okay, and the old Harry Potter Hagrid, better out than in, mindset. It's like, if that's coming out, then I'm going to keep running this to get rid of whatever else is in there, and also take boron every day, because that's supposed to help neutralize this chemistry behind all this chemtrail garbage that I'm outside all the time. I'm a real estate agent. I'm driving around showing houses in and out. I fly radio control planes. We stand outside for hours at a time where all this stuff's floating around. I'm an airplane guy. I know the difference between a condensation trail and a chemical trail that falls out of the sky with white powder. All right. So my Rife machine has some of these programs on it using different types of electronic waves, between ultrasound with the WAVwatch, plasma waves with my Rife machine, electronic waves, radio waves. My picture is starting to improve. And the only thing that I would really like to see you guys have is more than 3 playlists on the watch, because I would use 10 playlists. I went through the book, and I'm writing, I'm circling and underlining all the different things that I need to put on the playlists. And it's just, I have that many problems. I'm treating candida with it. I've had candida or candidiasis for 40 years. And it seems, since I started running the candidiasis and candida 1, 2, 3, 4 programs, weird stuff is starting to come out of me. It's like, yeah, better out than in, right? So there's so much that I could be doing, but there's only 24 hours in a day. All right.
Yeah, you said it well. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sorry, what?
No, yeah, they're only 24 hours. And, something I would say is, Linda designed the watch. So you mentioned Candida. You could just play the full mold and fungus folder. You don't have to make a playlist necessarily.
Oh, you can play an entire folder?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Like,
that will help you out a
can make
lot.
that folder loop, so you really have
Right.
over 100 playlists already.
Well, I'm still learning on it, because my wife started with the watch maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and I only got my own watch, I think, 3 or 4 days ago. So
Perfect.
I haven't had access to the watch like she has. She's the expert right now. But unfortunately, all of these problems, if you go to doctors, they have these insurance company, pharmacy company driven agendas. And it takes something like you guys and this type of technology, and people learning how to use it at home to create their own health and wellness regimen, and then trying not to get unhealthy, so that other things need to be treated. But I really want to thank you guys. This is a great thing. I would probably, buy another one, but it's not in the budget right now, because I would like to wear one at night while I sleep, and wear one during the day, and want to run the batteries down. Anyways, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That was wonderful, Vincent. You really covered a lot of ideas. That was very helpful to a lot of people. If they, key in on the Morgellons, it's, that's been around for a long time, and people are just now learning about it.
I tried to keep it short.